The Malaysian ringgit is the currency of Malaysia. It is divided into 100 sen. The ringgit is issued by the Bank Negara Malaysia. Etymology: the word ringgit means jagged in Malay and was originally used to refer to the serrated edges of silver Spanish dollars which circulated widely in the area during the 16th and 17th century Portuguese colonial era. The Singapore dollar and the Brunei dollar are also called ringgit in Malay, hence its official abbreviation RM for Ringgit Malaysia. The Malay names ringgit and sen were officially adopted as the sole official names in August 1975. Previously they had been known officially as dollars and cents in English and ringgit and sen in Malay, and in some parts of the country this usage continues. In the northern states of Peninsular Malaysia, denominations of 10 sen are called kipang in Malay, for example 50 sen is 5 kipang. History: on June 12, 1967, the Malaysian dollar, issued by the new central bank, Bank Negara Malaysia, replaced the Malaya and British Borneo dollar at par. The new currency retained all denominations of its predecessor except the $10,000 denomination, and also brought over the colour schemes of the old dollar. Over the course of the following decades, minor changes were made on the notes and coins issued, from the introduction of the M1 coin in 1967, to the demonetization of RM500 and RM1000 notes during the 1990s. The use of the dollar sign dollar was not replaced by RM until around 1997, though internationally MYR is more widely used. As the Malaysian dollar replaced the Malaya and British Borneo dollar at par, the new dollar was originally valued at $8.57 per 1 British pound sterling. In November 1967, 5 months of the introduction of the dollar, the pound was devalued by 14.3%. The new currency was not affected, but earlier notes of the Malaya and British Borneo dollar were still pegged at $8.57 per 1 pound. Consequently these notes were reduced in value to 85 cents per dollar. Despite the emergence of new currencies in Malaysia, Singapore and Brunei, the interchangeability agreement which the three countries adhered to as originally members of a currency union, meant the Malaysian dollar was exchangeable at par with the Singapore dollar and Brunei dollar. This ended on May 8, 1973, when the Malaysian government withdrew from the agreement. The Monetary Authority of Singapore and the Brunei Currency and Monetary Board still maintain the interchangeability of their two currencies, as of 2009. Between 1995 and 1997, the ringgit was trading as a free-float currency at around 2.50 to the US dollar, before dipping to under 3.80 to the dollar by the end of 1997, following the year's East Asian financial crisis. For the first half of 1998, the currency fluctuated between 3.80 and 4.40 to the dollar, before Bank Negara Malaysia pegged the ringgit to the US dollar in September 1998, maintaining its 3.80 to the dollar value for almost 7 years, while remaining floated against other currencies. The ringgit lost 50% of its value against the US dollar between 1997 and 1998, and suffered general depreciation against other currencies between December 2001 and January 2005. As of September 4, 2008, the ringgit has yet to regain its value circa 2001 against the Singapore dollar, the euro, the Australian dollar, and the British pound. On July 21, 2005, Bank Negara announced the end of the peg to the US dollar immediately after China's announcement of the end of the renminbi peg to the US dollar. According to Bank Negara, Malaysia allows the ringgit to operate in a managed float against several major currencies. This has resulted in the value of the ringgit rising closer to its perceived market value, although Bank Negara has intervened in financial markets to maintain stability in the trading level of the ringgit. This task is made easier by the fact that the ringgit has remained non-tradable outside of Malaysia since 1998, which coincided with its pegging to the US dollar, a restriction that was not removed when it was depegged in July 2005. Following the end of the currency peg, the ringgit appreciated to as high as 3.16 to the US dollar in April 2008. The ringgit had also enjoyed a period of appreciation against the Hong Kong dollar and the renminbi as recently as May 2008. political uncertainty following the country's 2008 general election and the 2008 Pematang Po by-election, falling oil prices, and the lack of intervention by Bank Negara to increase already low interest rates led to a slight fall of the ringgit's value against the US dollar between May and July 2008, followed by a sharper drop between August and September of the same year. As a result, the US dollar appreciated significantly to close at 3.43 to the MY as of September 4, 2008, while other major currencies, including the renminbi and Hong Kong dollar, follow suit. The drop brings the ringgit to its weakest since September 24, 2007, and ranks it as the second worst performing Southeast Asian currency between June 2008 and September 2008. As of August 5, 2012, Malaysia ringgit stands at $1 equals 3.1730 Malaysian ringgits. Coinage, first series. The first series of sen coins were introduced in 1967 in denominations of 1 sen, 5 sen, 10 sen, 20 sen, 50 sen, followed by the introduction of the 1 ringgit coin in 1971. While varied by diameters, virtually all the coins were minted in near consistent obverse and reverse designs, with the obverse depicting the then recently completed Malaysian Houses of Parliament and the Federal Star and Crescent Moon from the canton of the Malaysian flag. All coins were minted from cupronickel, the only exception being the 1 sen coin, which was first composed from bronze between 1967 to 1972, then in steel clad with copper from 1973 on. The 50 sen coin is the only one in the series to undergo a redesign, a minor 1971 modification on its edge to include Bank Negara Malaysia letterings. All coins have the initials GC on the reverse, below the Parliament House. It stands for Geoffrey Colley, Malaysia First Coins Series designer. Minting of the first sen series ended in 1989, when the second series was introduced. The coins older remain legal tender as of 2013. But have steadily declined in number and are seldom seen in circulation. The $1 coin has not been common in circulation since the introduction of the second series $1 coins. Second series. The second series of sen coins entered circulation in late 1989, sporting completely redesigned obverses and reverses, but predominantly retaining the design of edges, diameters and composition of the previous series coins as of 1989. The 1 ringgit coin an exception. Changes include the depiction of items of Malay culture on the obverse, and the inclusion of a Hibiscus rosa sinensis, the national flower of Malaysia, on the upper half of the reverse. The second series was designed by Low Yi Keng. In addition to changes on its obverse and reverse, the size of the 1 ringgit coin was also reduced from a diameter of 33 mm to 24 mm, and was minted from an alloy of copper, zinc and tin, as opposed to the first series cupronickel. The dollar symbol was brought over to the new coin, but was dropped in favor of ringgit for coins minted from 1993 onwards. On December 7, 2005, the 1 ringgit coin was demonetized and withdrawn from circulation. This was partly due to problems with standardization and forgery. As of April 1, 2008, a rounding mechanism of prices to the nearest 5 sen, applied to the total bill only, is in force, which was first announced in 2007 by Bank Negara Malaysia, in an attempt to render the 1 sen coin irrelevant. Individual items and services can still be priced in multiples of 1 sen with the final total rounded to the nearest 5 sen. For example, purchasing 2 items priced RM488 and RM3.14, totaling RM0802, would then be rounded to RM0800. If each item had been individually rounded, the incorrect total would have been RM0805. In practice, individual items will probably remain priced at so-called price points ending in 98 and 99 to maximize rounding gains for the vendor, especially in the case of single-item purchases. Existing 1 sen coins in circulation remain legal tender for payments up to RM0200. Third series. The third series of coins were announced on July 25, 2011, first being issued as commemorative coins to mark their release in early 2012. The third series carry a theme named distinctively Malaysia, and are inspired from motifs of flora and fauna drawn from various cultures in Malaysia to reflect the diversity and richness of Malaysia's national identity. The denominations issued are 5, 10, 20 and 50 cents. On October 24, 2011, Deputy Finance Minister Datuk Donald Lim named Pugsan Corporation of South Korea as the series coin suppliers, and the coins are minted at the Bank Negara Mint in Shah Alam. According to Lim, costs in producing the coins will be reduced by 49% due to the change in metal composition. Other changes in the series include the diameter, the color on the 20 and 50 cent coins, and a redesign on the obverse, 14 dots symbolizing the 13 states in the collective federal territories, and 5 horizontal lines indicating the 5 principles of Rukun Negara. The 50-cent coin is more distinctive than the other denominations. The round shape of the coin has 9 indentations, foregoing the original Bank Negara Malaysia lettering. The obverse does not feature the 5 horizontal lines, but instead a latent image security feature is placed over the coin, where lettering of the denomination 50 and SEN can be seen when the coin is tilted slightly. Banknotes, first series. Bank Negara Malaysia first issued Malaysian dollar banknotes on June 6, 1967 in $1, $5, $10, $50 and $100 denominations. The $1,000 denomination was first issued on September 2, 1968. The first Malaysian banknotes carried the image of Tuanku Abdul Rahman, the first Yang di-Pertuan of Malaysia, and bore the signature of Tun Ismail bin Muhammad Ali, the first Malaysian governor of Bank Negara Malaysia. On August 16, 1972, Bank Negara Malaysia adopted official new spelling system of the national language, Bahasa Malaysia, into the printing of its currency notes while retaining the designs. The banknotes with new spellings are circulated alongside the old banknotes. Second series. The second series was issued with Malaysian traditional ornamental designs in 1982, in $1, $5, $10, $20, $50, $100, $500, and $1,000 denominations. The $20 was generally relatively uncommon. Until 2010 the second series notes are still occasionally encountered. The mark for the blind on the upper left-hand corner was removed on the second revision in 1985. In 1999 the Rum 500 and Rm 1000 notes were discontinued and ceased to be legal tender. This was due because of the Asian monetary crisis of 1997, when huge amounts of ringgit were taken out of the country to be traded in these notes. In effect the notes were withdrawn out of circulation and the amount of ringgit taken out of the country in banknotes was limited to Rum 1000. In 1993, $1 notes were discontinued and replaced by the $1 coin. Third series. The third series was issued with designs in the spirit of wars in 2020 and 1996 and denominations of Rum 1, Rum 2, Rum 5, Rum 10, Rum 50 and Rm 100. The larger denomination Rum 50 and Rm 100 notes had an additional hologram strip to deter counterfeiters. In 2004, Bank Negara issued a new Rum 10 note with additional security features including the holographic strip previously only seen on the Rum 50 and Rm 100 notes. A new Rum 5 polymer banknote with a distinctive transparent window was also issued. Both new banknotes are almost identical to their original third series designs. According to Bank Negara, all paper notes will eventually be phased out and replaced by polymer notes. Fourth series. In early 2008, the bank released a newly designed Rum 50 banknote, which according to the bank, were to enter general circulation beginning January 30, 2008. Earlier, 20,000 more such notes with special packaging were distributed by the bank on December 26, 2007. The newly designed Rum 50 banknote retains the predominant color of green-blue, but is designed in a new theme, dubbed the National Mission, expressing the notion of Malaysia, moving the economy up the value chain, in accordance to Malaysia's economic transformation to higher value-added activities in agriculture, manufacturing and services sectors of the economy. The dominant intaglio portrait of the first Seri Paduka Baginda Yang di-Pertuan Tuanku Abdul Rahman, is retained on the right, and the national flower, the hibiscus, is presented in the center on the obverse of the note. Design patterns from songkit weaving, which are in the background and edges of the banknote, are featured to reflect the traditional Malay textile handicraft and embroidery. The first 50 million pieces of the new RM50 banknote features Malaysia's first Prime Minister, Tunku Abdul Rahman, at the historic declaration of Malaya's independence, and the logo of the 50th anniversary of independence on the reverse. Security features on the banknote include a watermarked portrait of the Yang di Pertuanigang, a security thread, micro-letterings, fluorescent elements visible only under ultraviolet light, a multicolored latent image which changes color when viewed at different angles, and a holographic stripe at the side of the note and an image that is visible only via a Moira copyright effect to prevent counterfeiting using photocopiers. Circulation for the first edition of this new RM50 banknote was eventually curtailed by the central bank due to the various Malaysia banks' automatic teller machines' inability to accept it. The bank began to re-release the new series for general circulation beginning July 15, 2009 without the 50th anniversary logo. This edition include new enhanced security features such as two-color number fluorescence and security fibers. In May 2011, Bank Negara Malaysia had announced that they will introduce a new series of banknotes in order to replace the current design that has been in circulation for around 15 years. The most highlighted part of the announcement is the reintroduction of the RM20 note, which was not included in the third series. The design of the new notes was announced on December 21, 2011, and the notes are expected to be put into circulation in the second half of 2012. The new series banknotes are legal tender and will co-circulate with the existing series. The existing series will be gradually phased out. All banknote denominations in the new series will retain the portrait of the first Seri Paduka Baginda Yang di Pertuanigang, Tuanku Abdul Rahman Itnai Tuanku Muhammad. The banknotes are supplied by Crane AB of Sweden, Guy Secondariant GmbH of Germany, Obertha Technologies of France and Ariel Fuseli of Switzerland. They were put into circulation on July 16, 2012. Commemoratives are also released in limited quantity. To commemorate the 1998 Commonwealth Games in Kuala Lumpur, a commemorative RM50 polymer banknote was issued. This note is hardly ever seen in normal usage, its use being a collector's commemorative. This note was printed by Note Printing Australia. For the fourth series, customers are able to purchase them in 3 distinct sets. A pair of RM1 and RM5 banknotes, a set of RM20 banknotes, and the full set of RM1, RM5, RM10, RM20, RM50 and RM100 banknotes. The RM50 banknote no longer carries the logo of the 50th anniversary of independence. Kijang Emas. 3 denominations of gold bullion coins, the Kijang Emas are also issued, at the face value of RM50, RM100 and RM200, weighing a 1/4 ounce, a 1/2 ounce and 1 ounce respectively. It is minted by the Royal Mint of Malaysia and was launched on July 17, 2001 by Bank Negara Malaysia, making Malaysia the 12th country to issue its own gold bullion coins. Like other bullion coins issued around the world, the Kijang Emas is primarily used as an investment rather than day-to-day circulation. The purchase and reselling price of Kijang Emas is determined by the prevailing international gold market price. Notes and references. See also, Economy of Malaysia, external links, Bank Negara Malaysia currency page showing security features of current banknotes issue. Bank Negara Malaysia Money Museum website providing numismatic collection, history of money in Malaysia, and galleries. MYR currency converter tool for converting Malaysian ringgit to from other major currencies.